Hello, friends. It is Friday, May 21st, and coming to you with another video message for today. Today I'm over here at Three Rivers Christian School again, and today's a really fun day here. It's the annual Jogathon fundraiser. And so they mow a course in a big circle in the lawn there, and the kids, grade by grade, go and run around that, and it's a way to earn money for the school. So people sponsor them by, flat rates or per lap. So this year, all three of our kids will be running. Aubrey gets to run for about 10 minutes, so that'll be fun to see. And then the boys are both very excited for their 20-minute laps that they get to run, or 20 minutes of run time. And they're both feeling very determined today. So we'll see how that goes. But fun day and fun to just be together as a school community here today. Last year, because of COVID, they couldn't do the Jogathon. We were at this point totally distance learning. And so last year they did what was called a Joyathon. I have my shirt on here. At TRCS, we keep learning, we keep growing, we keep rolling with the toilet paper. And Joyathon. And that was a really neat thing too. Talk about interruptions and how they can be really disappointing. The Jogathon is a big thing here. So there was disappointment, but how God works through things for good. So the Joyathon, they were just encouraged, instead of raising money for the school, they still found other ways to fundraise, was just to bless people in the community. So our boys raised a bunch of money and bought a bunch of dog and cat food. Emmaus is a dog kid, Grayson's a cat kid. So they raised a bunch of money for that and blessed an organization here in the community that gets food to families that can't afford food for their pets. And so that was a really cool thing. I can't remember how much they raised, but they raised a ton. So that was cool. Like what a cool opportunity that was to bless people that otherwise wouldn't have happened. And talking with some of the people here, they're glad to be back to the Jogathon, and yet there's still a little bit of, man, last year was so cool. and so I think that's true, right? This has been such a disruptive time for us, and yet if our eyes are open to it, we see that there have been all these ways where we've been able to do things, or we've had the opportunity to do things that maybe we wouldn't have had otherwise, or we wouldn't have seized otherwise. And that's a blessing. That's a positive. So again, I think the key is when we're just focused on ourselves and the way we're impacted by it, it just feels really discouraging. And it's hard not to do that because we're human and we're sinners, okay? And being a sinner is being inwardly focused. So that's kind of our default, is we're going to think about ourselves and how we're impacted and inconvenienced by things. But Jesus calls us to something different, right? To die to self and to live for God and to live for others as well. And so I just want to remind you of that that's such an important lesson in this pandemic, is the reminder that we are to die to self and to live for God and others. And that's not always fun. It's not always what we would desire or want, but it's the calling to follow Jesus. And so I think we've been given lots of reminders for that. The main scripture I want to lift up today, though, thinking about with running on the mind and jogging, I thought of Hebrews 12, and I just want to read 1 through 3. Hebrews 12, 1 through 3. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Man, that is a wonderful passage. I haven't read that in a long time, and just those 3 verses are just jam-packed with so much goodness. But just a reminder about what Jesus endured. And for the joy set before him, he endured the cross. That is such a kind of paradoxical statement. How does that make no sense? But again, Jesus knew he endured the cross because he knew what was greater. He knew what it would accomplish. and the joy that it would bring to us, and the joy that it brings him to be in that relationship with us. So pretty amazing. And so as we endure opposition or struggles or challenges like we have been, consider him. Consider Jesus. Consider what he went through for the sake of others. What we're being called to do is really quite minor compared to that. Doesn't mean it's not challenging, doesn't mean it's not inconvenient, but if we if we have some perspective, if we consider him, consider Jesus and what he went through, it should strengthen us, it should encourage us so that we will not grow weary and lose heart, right? We can keep moving through this time because, as it says, fix our eyes on Jesus. Okay, if we fix our eyes on him and what he's called us to do as his followers, we can get through all this. Okay, no matter how challenging it may be or may even become, even more so perhaps, or just the ongoing inconvenience or disruption of our lives, if our eyes are fixed on Jesus, disruption of our lives, if we have our eyes fixed on Jesus, we can get through it. And that part of let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Well, the race is the race of faith, right? But it's also not just, and I'm running solo, for my personal best score. So at the end, I can say, wow, look at me and how well I did. This race that we're in is really a team relay. We're running this with other people. We're not just solo. And you've seen maybe those videos where in a race someone falls down and someone stops and picks them up. That's the kind of race we're in. That's the kind of people we should be as Christians, is that it's the race of discipleship. Okay, it's not just me and my personal faith. It's the race of discipleship that we're keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus, seeking to live like him, love like him, and we're picking people up who fall along the way. We're encouraging those who are running alongside us. We're at times passing the baton when it's time for us to move on and someone else to take over. All those kinds of things. It's the life of discipleship. That's the race we're in. And again, it's not just about us. We want to run it well. But the way we run it well is we fix our eyes on Jesus, we live like him, and we look out for others, and we seek to bring them along with us as well. So we all cross the finish line together. That's the goal. Okay. So I just want to encourage you with that word today. I think it's such a great word. Maybe spend a little more time ruminating on that. Hebrews 12, 1 through 3. But today and every day, let's fix our eyes on Jesus. Let's keep running the race with perseverance, picking people up, encouraging people along the way, doing our part, and just remembering what Jesus endured for us, and that should help us to not grow weary or lose heart. So God bless you, friends. I hope you have a great day, a great weekend, and I look forward to connecting with many of you in person on this Pentecost and Confirmation Sunday. Don't forget, if you're coming in, if you have red, throw that on. And for those of you worshiping the live stream, feel free to wear red at home. And we'll look forward to connecting with you in that way too. So God bless you, friends.